Hi, Ontario Government.
We are
the RYTS Way
of E-learning
consulting company. And we're going to show you ways to improve engagement in an online learning setting.
According to the University of Washington, engagement within a class can motivate students to practice higher-level critical thinking skills and provide a better learning experience. As you can see, engagement within a class is something that needs to be taken seriously, especially online. That's where our company comes to place. The RYTS Way of E-learning's company's ultimate goal is to increase students' engagement by providing a proper and engaging learning environment. So, our project will integrate three aspects of real-life teaching: the teaching system, in-class activities, and out-class activities. In a few seconds, our professional team of 4 will talk about those suggestions in detail. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Hi, Ontario Government. My name is Ruth, and I'm going to be talking about gamified interactive response systems. The integration of gamified interactive response systems has been proven to show positive results of creating an environment of engagement among students. According to a study by Jerry Chi Yonson and P. Honsan Haisei 2018, it was shown through the results that 91.3% of the students enjoyed lessons using gamified interactive response systems and were more intrigued into learning. The study also revealed that 76.1% of the students felt more participation taking place in the class while using the gamified interactive response system. As we can see, the use of gamified interactive response systems can foster engagement within the class, increase enjoyability with lessons, and increase class participation, which is something that we're struggling with while doing online learning. With the current pandemic and school being online, engagement has seemed to be an issue that students face. Students are surrounded by distractions, and since online learning is about being engaged in self-discipline, gamified interactive response systems has potential to create a better, engaging learning environment. Gamified interactive response systems can be implemented on online learning platforms such as D2L, Google Classroom, BB Collab, all those learning platforms. It can also be integrated into class discussions, lectures, assessments, and course teachings. For example, during lessons or lectures, teachers can create a review period where students have a chance to test their knowledge on a section that was just covered. This could be done by adding the gamified interactive response systems onto these educational learning platforms. This will encourage students to participate in review or whatever lesson you are testing them on, and will motivate students to do better as they are being rewarded for correct answers. If students answer correctly, they will be rewarded, but if students answer incorrectly, they will be given a hint that will pop up and will foster thinking and reflection. A leaderboard can also be placed during the review sessions so students can set goals and compete with other students to achieve the highest level. In addition, these learning platforms can also add betting modes, so if questions are structured in multiple choice, students can bet on answers. As previously mentioned with the use of hints, if students answer incorrectly, they can also be given a second chance. Whereas if they go to answer a question that might be wrong, a sound effect will indicate so. This will help students to reflect on their answers before submission. I believe that if you, Ontario Government, use the implementation of gamified interactive response systems, that I think it will be very beneficial for students as well as teachers, and I really hope that you consider my pitch.
Hi, my name is Somaya and I'm taking Psychological Health Sciences at the University of Toronto. I'll be discussing another suggestion that should be implemented to improve online learning. It focuses on a challenge almost every student faces, and that's academic procrastination. The way the Ontario government can combat this is by implementing weekly meetings where they discuss how your work is going, whether you're on the right track, and reflect on what you neglected to complete the prior week. In the discussions, they talked about different study activities, internal and/or external factors that contributed to procrastination, and this led students to know the reasons why they continually procrastinated. These are all suggestions that should be discussed in the meeting. These discussion sessions should be 30 minutes to an hour long, so all students have time to discuss their difficulties in their course's workload. Weekly classes could be held on Fridays, so students can discuss their academic procrastination from that week, and if needed, what they can do on the weekend to be ahead or just complete their work. These weekly meetings must be consistent and done regularly. If they're only implemented for a few weeks, yes, you will see improvement, but that doesn't mean stop. They must be continued throughout the year, so students continue their good behavior. All through my years of high school, there was never any classes that discussed how my work is going, how I was handling everything, and how I could succeed. Now the government has the opportunity to implement these classes, and they're so important. These meetings where you reflect and discuss your progress are not only important for some groups, no, they're important for all age groups, because we're all procrastinators whether we'd like to admit it or not. If all students participate and reflect on their bad habits of academic procrastination, there will be positive benefits. I promise you that. A study done by Frontier in Psychology conducted a research where they implemented 3 weekly meetings that were 2.5 hours long. The government doesn't need to have as many meetings, and they don't need to be as long. I think it's just as effective with 30 minutes a week. This study shows the importance of having weekly meetings that inform you of your faults when it comes to academic procrastination and ways to improve these faults. I believe if these weekly discussions are done online, there will be positive results in students' academic procrastination. This can be the first step that the Ontario government takes to give students the tools to succeed.
Hi, my name is Trisha Patel. The program I'm in is psycholinguistics, and the pitch that I have for you today is the use of group work in breakout rooms. During the COVID pandemic, many students have been unable to connect with others like they did in the past. Social distancing is very difficult for many, as it impacts their mental health, making them feel alone and isolated, which ultimately affects their education. What could be done to re-engage these students with online learning and help them build important social skills? A possible implementation method is the use of group work, which has already been used in traditional in-person classes, but can also be applied to the online classrooms. And this method is particularly effective at improving the way that students receive their education because it has flexibility in the way that it can be applied to many courses and subjects. What benefits does group work have on students? This is discussed in the journal article, The Effects of Cooperative Learning on Junior High School Students During Small Group Learning, done by Robin Gillies in 2004. After completing a mathematics assessment, participants that had worked collaboratively had received significantly better scores. This was due to the deeper understanding of the course content as well as thinking beyond their typical range. In addition, these same participants had showed improved interpersonal skills such as communication, collaboration, and listening skills. Due to the social context of the classroom, they are helping their peers out as well as helping themselves by becoming more confident and more outgoing. How can you, the Ontario government, implement this strategy into online learning platforms? As mentioned by Robin Gillies in the article, the best way for improvements to be seen is if these activities were made mandatory, which forces students to participate and put in their best effort. This strategy is readily accessible for all educators. Platforms such as Zoom and Google Meets have a feature called breakout rooms, which allows for smaller and separate groups to meet. With the addition of this feature and the creation of collaborative activities, teachers can support students' learning. This strategy can also be used in a variety of contexts. Biology students can work on case studies together, group members can work on math problems, and prospective actors can practice plays. In conclusion, group work is is an efficient method that can help re-engage students into online learning. Thank you.
Hello, judges. My name is Zora. Currently, I'm a second-year student in UTSC, specializing in finance and statistics. Here, I want to talk about my approach for the improvement of online engagement, which is the target test package. As the study shows, more than half of Ontario high schoolers don't enjoy their school even when they were in school. Not to mention in the online learning settings when they were all in home, where they are far from the teachers, classmates, and other good learning atmospheres. So how can we provide a better learning environment for the students and keep them engaged in the course? After I combine the positive psychology principle and the Professor Flex B. Kwan at Marywell University's essay, I concluded my method into a target test package. They are setting objectives, ungraded quizzes, and graded quizzes. So our first step is to list objectives. We list every course's objectives and provide them to students at the beginning of every course. This is where I implemented the concept of flow, which is a state proposed by the psychologists where people are highly concentrated while feeling really enjoyable. In order to achieve this state, the most effective way is to propose achievable learning goals and provide positive feedbacks continuously on achieving those goals. For example, many people are addicted to the video games and they are not worrying of how time flies so fast. It's because they constantly finish the tasks in the games and get positive feedback. So in this sense, we can apply this to the online learning strategy. We have goals here. How do students get those constant positive feedback? The ungraded quiz part. After one major topic has been explained, or in other sense, we have achieved one objective. We will have a short quiz. This quiz is not scored on the correctness, but in order to make sure the participation of every student, this quiz will be scored on the completion. These quizzes are not hard, they are really simple and consist of 4 to 5 multiple choices questions. And they are done in a think, pair, share format, where students work on problems individually for a few minutes and then pair up with the classmates and briefly share their thinking. Therefore, it's a great way to bring students into different breakout rooms and work on quizzes together. As a student commented on this quiz in Professor Kwan's survey, these quizzes keep me focused on the class, frequent review and work helping me learn. The third step is to provide graded quizzes. They are given in the last 5 to 8 minutes of each class on past topics. These quizzes are mostly open notes and as hard as the question appears in the long exams. According to the cognitive psychology, the best way to memorize things is through testing. This is so-called test effect. Ungraded quizzes help students to recall things quickly, and the graded quizzes help students to learn how to apply new knowledge into the past topics. In the questionnaire of Professor Kwan, 60% of students indicated that the quiz is helpful for their study. One student even wrote, "Even though I dreaded those graded quizzes at the beginning, they kept me on top of everything." Frequent short quizzes have 3 advantages. The first one, keep students focused on the class, help students memorize and understand the course materials better, increase students' critical thinking and communication skills through explaining concepts to other students. Professor Kwan's study also indicates that by using this method in his course, students can effectively increase their academic performance by about 10%. At the same time, these quizzes are not meant to let students difficult. They take up within 15 minutes, which is a really short period of time for each class, and also Teachers can adjust the quizzes into 10% of the whole grade, so students won't feel too much pressure on these quizzes. Also, in practical applications, this package can be used in only core courses like English and Math, or the courses with a low average score, so that students do not have to do too much tests every day.
In summary, the RYTS Way of E-learning company provides 4 methods to improve online engagement: gamified interactive response system, implementation week, more group work, and the target test package.
We are 4 online school students ourselves, so we understand the needs and difficulties of students better. If our project has the honor to be chosen, the Ontario students will not only feel more engaged in their class, but also feel more attached to their school community, which will result in a positive environment where both school and students benefit. With that all being said, we sincerely hope the Ontario government will achieve a prosperous online education system as well.
This is the end of our pitch. Thank you for listening.